I am Maria Garcia de Fleury. On April 9, 1848, Ezequiel Moreno y Diaz was born in Spain. He had a normal childhood and adolescence. He played the guitar, he sang, he felt a strong spiritual connection with God. Instead of partying, for example, he preferred to stay caring for the sick. This inclination led him to make the decision to consecrate himself completely to God through the service of those who suffer. At the age of 16, he entered the convent of the Agustinian Recollects in Navarra, Spain. After his religious profession, he was sent as a missionary to the Philippines. There, he completed his formation and was ordained a priest on June 3, 1871. Along with his brother, he was sent to evangelize on the island of La Paragua, one of the Philippine islands. There, Ezequiel contracted malaria and had to return to Manila. When he recovered his health, he was appointed parish priest of Lespinace. 4 years later, he was appointed preacher of the Manila convent. There, he managed an estate belonging to the Agustinian Recollects and promoted charitable works. At the age of 40, he returned to the Monteagudo convent in Spain as superior. He aimed to leave his mark on the younger novices, imprinting on each one's heart the seal of Augustinian spirituality and love for the poor, teaching them to adequately provide for the beggars and the homeless. For this reason, he constantly encouraged them to renounce small things in order to love with greater freedom and generosity. He was the first to set an example. These were years of great challenge and spiritual growth. 3 years later, Father Ezequiel embarked as a missionary to Bogota, Colombia, where he lived in a great austerity for 5 years and held the position of provincial of the Agustinian order. He preached, cared for the sick, and traveled to unexplored areas to evangelize and administer the sacraments. In 1894, he was appointed titular bishop of Pinara and apostolic vicar of Casanare. He created the God and Colombia work program without ceasing his missionary work and upholding his motto, "A single soul is worth more than my entire life." When he was appointed as Bishop of Pasto, he stood out for his usual simplicity in dealing with people, but with forceful sermons against bad politicians and the spread of confusing doctrines. All of this provoked the wrath of his enemies. Monsignor Ezequiel always treated his aggressors with mercy and prayed for them. In 1905, he was diagnosed with cancer and had to return to Spain for surgery. Unfortunately, the operation was very painful and unsuccessful. Bishop Ezequiel gradually weakened, but his spirit was filled with the fire of love for God, and he prayed, "My God, give me the courage to suffer for you." He died at the age of 58 on August 19, 1906. Saint Ezequiel Moreno carried the divine flame of God's love to many parts of the world, Spain, Philippines, Colombia, bringing God's light to all people, collaborating with God with his fire that sought to renew the face of the earth. How different this fire is from wars and bombs. How different is the fire of Christ, which the church spreads. The fire of God, the fire of the Holy Spirit, is a flame that burns but does not destroy. But burning brings out the best part of the human being, its truest part, and its effusion it brings out its inner form, its vocation to the truth and love of God, because with God we always win.